Again, I want to welcome you all to another historic occasion here at the Sketch Club, where we're going to unveil a major work of art by the painter Hugh Breckenridge. He was a member of the club, I think, from 1894 to 1917, if I remember the years, and was an important member of the Philadelphia artistic community. Was a neighbor of Thomas Anschutz. They ran the Darby Summer School for Artists in Fort Washington for almost 20 years. And he and Anschutz lived as neighbors in that area. And it's so fitting for this work to be here because all these portraits that you see around the top of the room were all done by Anschutz in the 1890s. And these were just club members that Anschutz said, if you bring in a canvas a certain size, I'll paint your portrait and we'll hang them up at the club. So now it's, again, fitting, and then here's a bronze plaque of Anschutz, who was a very highly respected club member, to have Breckenridge work, a major Breckenridge work, on display here. This work was displayed at the Academy in 1909 when Breckenridge was in charge of the exhibition and selection committee. So it shows its importance. Obviously, when he's running the exhibition, he's going to put in one of his very best works. I'm going to ask Marion Clark to say a few words about the Breckenridge family. Marion was instrumental in contacting us, along with Leslie and her sister Peggy. The painting actually belonged to Peggy at the time it was donated to the club. With that, I'll turn it over to Marion. And
I'll try not to take too much time, but I have a tendency to talk too much. So I am Marion Clark, and by default I became the genealogist of the family, and I think it was partly because I ended up moving to Colorado, and everybody's in the East, and I'm there in Colorado. So I called my grandmother one day, Margaret Breckenridge Skinner, and said, do you have any pictures of the family? And she said, I have a trunkload, and she truly sent me a trunkload of photos, and I was like, for the rest of my adult life, I was trying to figure out a lot of who these were. A lot of them were labeled, a lot of them were marked, so there were pictures of houses, of I don't know where they were, and pictures of family, and from there I started doing the genealogy thing, and all of a sudden I came to a screeching halt one day when my husband and I came up to meet you. And we were curious about, well, you know, Breckenridge lived there, and I know that the Fine Arts Academy has one of his paintings. We stopped there and we got to see Pennsylvania, and then we stopped and talked to Bill, and he said, well, yeah, he was a member for a long time. We don't have anything on him. I said, oh, you're kidding. It seemed as though Hugh Henry was in me as far as his spirit, because things just started happening like this. We had recently found a painting that was in a folded kind of position that was my grandmother's, part of her estate that had moved over to my mother. And one evening we unfolded it, and it was this. And I brought pictures of what it looked like when we unfolded it. And our hearts just dropped because we saw that it had been in such disarray. And I mentioned to Bill, I said, we have a painting that we don't even think is restorable. Is there anyone in your club that might even want to try to attack this? And Terry Newman popped up. Is he here? Is Terry here?
Terry is probably caught up in some political cavalcade of cars.
Okay.
Trying to get down here from Pottstown.
So I had to...
Terry!
Terry?
Terry!
Terry! So...
Hey, Terry! Here's a ride.
He just pops in, and what a great entrance. So Terry Newman said, you know, we could do it. So this was about 8 or 9 years ago, if I can remember correctly. And since then, we have managed to get it to final viewing. We decided that if we could get someone to donate it, or to restore it, we would donate it to the Sketch Club for their being able to have something that he had done, Henry had done. So I want to recognize the fact that they did take on this endeavor. And Terry, it was 8 years, not 4. Hello! He goes, oh, has it been that long? I said, it doesn't matter, because he's been keeping me up to date as to the progression. And I asked him, is it possible to be able to do this unveiling? So with this now, we have the family of the Breckenridge here to be able to witness this. And one of the most important, two of the most important people, I think, are my mother, Leslie Breckenridge Skinner, who is granddaughter, and my uncle, George Breckenridge Skinner, who we call Uncle Breck, and the name Breck just keeps filtering down in our family because now I have a nephew that my sister Peggy, Margaret Breckenridge, well anyway, Peggy named Breck Fraser. So the name Breck just seems to be filtering through our family now, but my sister Peggy Fraser is here, my other sister Ellen Belia is here, and then my husband David Clark, and Peggy's husband Bob Fraser, and then we have Ellen's husband Dominic Belia, but then we have Leslie and Susie, who are Uncle Breck's children, here with us. And Uncle Walter is my brother. There's my brother Walter. So my daughter Lindsay is the next generation, Lindsay Clark. And did I miss anybody?
Anita.
Oh, Anita, where are you?
Anita's right here.
Anita is my uncle's wife.
Trying to get out of your way.
I really can stand.
But we managed to pull people from all the way from San Francisco, Boulder, Colorado, where we're from, Annapolis, well, no, Silver Spring now, New Jersey, Virginia, Ellicott City, and then we recently found a long-lost relative that I had to mention, which is Donna Italiano.
Because
She is my second cousin. We've not met until today, face to face. She found me on AskArt.com when I put the bio of Hugh Henry Breckenridge out there for them to read, and I also sent them the photo. She found me, and we've been in connection for the last 8 years as well. But she and her husband showed up today, and she is the great-granddaughter of Samuel Kepler Breckenridge, who is Hugh Henry's brother. That's it. That's the story. Here we are.
Good job.
We're now going to ask Leslie Breckenridge Skinner and Breck to unveil the painting by gently pulling on the.
Don't pull it off the wall now.
Nice to meet you. After all that.
You're almost there.
Okay, you're coming.
1, 2, 3, here it goes. Boy, it's tight, isn't it?
It's hard to believe.
Newman Galleries.
everybody come stand in front.